Well, welcome back to another episode of Messengers, where we share stories of life change from Word of Life ministries all over the world. In this conversation, Laci Kadar shares his journey with Word of Life Hungary, discussing the impact of the ministry on generations of young people. He highlights the unique challenges faced by today's youth, particularly Gen Z and Gen Alpha, and how Word of Life is adapting to meet their needs. Laci also shares a personal story of transformation, the ripple effect of discipleship, and the current needs of the ministry, emphasizing the importance of community and genuine relationships in a time of crisis. I know you're going to enjoy this conversation, and I can't wait for us to dive right in. Well, welcome, Laci. I'm so excited for you to be a part of this Messengers podcast with us today. And we're just going to jump right in, and so that I give you as much time as possible. Introduce yourself by sharing how you serve with Word of Life and how long you've been with us and what has inspired you to want to be involved with Word of Life for really over 30 years.
Oh, wow. Lots of questions there.
Yeah.
Hi. My name is Laci Kadar. I've been married to my wife Sandra for 27 years. We have 3 children, 16, 18, and 20. And presently, I serve as the director of Word of Life Hungary. Now, this story started back in 1991. That was the second year of Word of Life having camps in a beautiful property in Hungary with a beautiful mansion, a castle we call it. And so in 1991, 1990, a lot of my friends came down and they just told me that fall that boy, oh boy, a lot of kids came to Christ and this camp is like really cool. So honestly, in 1991, that was one of the first things on my list to go down to Word of Life and just see what it is. And God just captivated my heart because I could see totally secular kids and teenagers coming to Christ. And not by the scores, but by the hundreds. And that summer I did two weeks as a camp counselor. Next summer, 92, I was the first ever unit leader of Word of Life Hungary, and I did like 7 weeks. On the following summer, some 10 weeks. And I was pretty much on track, and God just put this strong desire in my heart to join the ministry. So after graduating in college, I'm an elementary teacher, by the way. In 1995, I said yes to the invitation of the director then and joined the ministry full time. So that was almost 30 years ago.
Wow, that's incredible. And just to even think about the fact that you have sustained being with Word of Life for 30 years, that's pretty unusual for ministries, but it's not unusual for Word of Life. We find that when people come into Word of Life, they stay. And why do you think that is? Why do people, when they come into Word of Life, get passionate about it, and it's almost as if we can't get them to leave?
Chip, you're probably the 8th person asking me the same question this year. I'm not
Wow.
kidding you. And the primary reason for me and my wife being here is this. We could see generations and generations of young disciples growing up on our campus and going out to Hungary and multiplying Christ followers. Not one, not two, not 10, but again, we talk about scores and scores of young people. I mean, I could tell you a story about our new camp director, a guy we graduated from our Bible Institute in 2001. He was only 19 then. And then he went on with his life, became eventually an engineer, and worked in different kind of jobs for 20 some years. All those 20 some years as an engineer, he was a church planter, he was a youth worker, he did children's camps. And as he told me just recently, for 20 some years, he has always wanted to become a Word of Life staff member. And now, a little over a year ago, he returned to us and now he's directing our summer camps. And I could tell you stories about pastors whom I was able to teach how to do youth ministry. And now the same pastor has been doing it in a little church, little town, big summer camps, and is applying all that he's learned in our camp. Or I could tell you about one of our board members. She used to be a camp volunteer in the 90s. And so she and her husband, they started a church plant. And the youth pastor is one of our former staffers. Their kids are coming to camp. We are sending Bible school students to their church, and what they do there is what they learned here. And I can say it again and again and again that the methods and the discipling people learned at Word of Life Hungary, they're doing the same thing all over the country. And seeing these stories 1 and 2 and 5 and 10 and 20, that keeps me running. So this is my fuel. That's my fuel.
That's so cool. Well, we can actually hear that in your voice. The passion still that is there for reaching young people. That's what it's all about. But
It is.
tell us about young people you work with specifically.
Hmm.
You're talking about some stories about some students or some campers who have taken their next steps, and now you have a camp director who's taken the full step, and now he's
Yeah,
a part of our
yeah.
ministry. What do older generations need to know about them and about evangelizing and discipling young people today?
Well, there's a couple of things you need to know about today's young people. The first one is two terms, Gen Z and Gen Alpha. Let me just repeat, Generation Z and Generation Alpha. And they are very different. Now, Hungary belongs to the European Union. It's a developed European country. And Gen Z and Gen Alpha teens, they live in the global village. They listen to the same music. They go on the same social media. They do speak English, and they have gone through some terrible experiences. Let me just mention two. Those who are 16, 18, 14, they have first-hand experience about being lonely for a year or two because these kids experienced COVID. They are lonely, and they are just craving for genuine, real person-to-person relationships because they experience what it is like to sit in a room, watch a computer monitor, and being isolated from the most important things for a teenager, friends, okay? And they know that. And at least Hungarian and European kids, they know how frightening it is when you just start learning from the news that there a war started next door because Ukraine is a neighboring country for Hungary. So they are full of fears, and statistics show that there is a very high rate of mental health issues and depression among teenagers. So here at Word of Life Hungary, the programs we do these past couple of years focus on community. So even when we do a youth conference, yes, there is a speaker, there is a message, but there is a lot of time for community activities, be it discussion, be it board games, be it just sitting around the table and talking. So producing genuine Christian community. Now, here's another one. What we learned that this generation is ready to show their skills and they are ready to stand up for big causes. And that can be the cause of Christ as well. So our motto in Hungary is this: know and follow and proclaim Christ. We want to train multiplying disciples. We want them to know Jesus and follow Jesus and proclaim Jesus. That's a big cause. So we have to try to motivate them to do that cause. And here's another one that surrounds, I guess, American teenagers as well. This is relativism and consumerism. All these lies, that you are the most important person of the planet, and if you are happy, everybody is happy, and we need to counter it. So the challenges we face and the generational issues that we face are very similar that you face in the United States.
What's interesting is, war isn't on our lands, but you guys see war. You see it very, very close to you, so I can
Oh,
understand that fear that is there. But what kind of ministry opportunities has that given to you, even outside of the scope of the reality that teenagers know they need their friends, those types of things? But what other avenues has this war really brought amazing opportunities for you in your ministry?
I'm going to tell you three names. The first name is Bogdan. Bogdan is 19. His family is in Finland, or maybe 20. Bogdan is a Bible school student. He's a refugee, and he cannot go back to his country because the day he goes back, he's going to be taken to the front to fight. The
Hmm.
next one is Marie. Marie's dad is in Ukraine. Marie's mom is in France. And Marie is also a Bible school student studying here. And the next one is Tanya or Tatiana. And she was a refugee in Poland studying in our Bible Institute.
Hmm.
And this crisis became so big that actually in Budapest, a missionary started a church for refugees from Ukraine. Now, interesting, it's a Russian language church, but this is predominantly for people who left Ukraine and started a new life in Budapest. And so our Bible school students, particularly Bogdan, is going there once a week and helps that church with the youth ministry. So
Mm.
this is a very direct involvement that we can do.
Well, that's pretty amazing because when I think about war, you typically think that people go into hiding, but the reality is that it brings out people to find where they can feel loved, they can feel some sort of peace, some sort of uh, value, and it's been incredible just to kind of see that from your guys' perspective. But kind of changing the direction of our conversation here just a little bit, tell me a little bit, maybe a story you lean on and remember in tough days to make you say this is all worth it.
I think, and this is going to be very personal, uh, one such story is the story of my own son. He's 16, so still a work in progress. But he's gone through some tough times. But he decided to serve all summer long in the summer camp as a volunteer last summer and even in this past summer. So instead of taking a summer job, our son decided, no, I'm going to serve at the Word of Life camp as a volunteer. And he was doing pretty much anything, teaching baseball, washing dishes, and whatever had to be done. And just to be around mature Christian guys, making friendships, having fellowship with other Christians. I mean, the difference we can see in his life is tremendous. So again, this is something very personal, but I've been working with teenagers for decades, but having your own teenage son is quite a different story. And this was such a great reinforcement for my wife and I that yes, this is just such a privilege that we can be part of it because it really has an effect on our own child.
I think that's probably one of the most significant things that's been for us when we moved back. Obviously, as you said, you were friends with my dad. Losing my dad during COVID, you would have thought that it may have created this tension between Word of Life and a relationship with God. But my kids right now working in camp, we have seen their lives completely
Yeah,
transformed in ways that we just never imagine. It made us so happy to
yeah,
realize that this calling that God had placed on our life really put us in an environment where we saw our own children changing, where we've experienced pastor kids, missionary kids. They don't want anything to do with the ministry
exactly,
anymore, and
exactly.
to get so excited about the fact that your own son is
Yeah.
now passionate about what God is doing.
Now,
It's just amazing.
I'm not saying everything is rosy and happy, but I just see the good
Absolutely.
direction. That's so encouraging. I'm so thankful for that. I'm so thankful for that.
Well, you talked about the influence you guys have had really on all aspects of life, from the local church to families, those
Mhm.
types of things. Can you share an example of a young person who has gone on to become a leader in their own community? Not
Yeah.
necessarily a leader with Word of Life, but
No.
someone who's having an impact within a community
Yeah.
because of the impact Word of Life had on them.
I love sharing stories because I really think that if you want to get the feel of a ministry, you should look at that ministry through a microscope because you can look at a ministry through a telescope. And World of Life Hungary is a big ministry. We talk about some 60 staffers and big programs. But this kind of microscope dimension really helps you get the point. So let me tell you the story about Tibi. Now, Tibi graduated our school in the late 90s, 98 or 99. And he was just a young guy who just came to Christ and in camp and started coming to the Bible school. And he went through 1 year of Bible school and he felt a strong call to become a pastor in one of the Protestant denominations of Hungary. So I encouraged him to go to their seminary because that was the only possible way of getting ordained and becoming a pastor. And so he did. He got married and they went to a couple of small churches, went through some very difficult times. But presently, Tibi's been pastoring a church in the suburbs of a big city, and he's been doing it for some 15 years. And he has built a large youth work. They are organizing summer camps. They are sending campers to our camp, and Tibi comes back to teach in our Bible Institute once a year. Or here's another one. The guy's name is Jared. And Jared is a very interesting story because Jared's parents came here to be students in 2007. Jared was only a teenager. And his mom and dad went through the Bible school. They went back to America, and now they are small church pastors somewhere in the summer. Where is it? Minnesota. Yeah. But Jared was only a teenager then, but he returned to the Bible school. And then at the end of Bible school, we sent him to Dallas Theological Seminary. He finished that. He became a youth pastor in a way. And then God called him and his wife to one of those very sensitive Asian countries. I can't say the name of that country. And so Jared and his wife are serving in that country. And he returns to our Bible Institute now as one of the guest professors teaching one of the books of the Bible. Isn't that cool?
It is. It's such a cool story, and it really fits so well with our vision, our mission. I love the fact
Yes,
that we've
indeed.
narrowed it down to helping
Yep.
every young person take their next steps with Jesus, and every single one of the stories that you've even shared about, you see the progression. It's not just Word Life is not just an evangelistic
Nope.
ministry. We're evangelism and discipleship, and we're really ascending ministry as well. We're a ministry that's telling people that, you know what, God can use you wherever you are at,
So
and
you
these aren't
wonder
just
you wonder why I'm sticking around for 34 years. Well, there is your answer, you know.
Exactly, exactly. Well, God has been doing so many amazing things through the ministry, and one of the things that I just think is really important for our audience just to hear about is, what advice would you give someone who is considering supporting Word of Life for the first time? Why should they give to Word of Life?
I think what I just mentioned recently, this kind of bifold approach, telescope and microscope. By the way, this is not original. I heard it at my commencement at Dallas Theological Seminary from
Mm.
Mark Bailey. But the microscope and telescope approach is very helpful. So you may want to look at the organization as a whole, as a big, operating in 80 countries and reaching thousands of kids, and all those numbers and budgets and locations and opportunities. But once you are kind of familiar with the background, take the microscope and look at some individual stories. Take the time to read some testimonials, watch some videos, get to know some staff, not everyone, but some staff, some folks, and you will see how God is using this ministry. So my advice is before getting to know the projects, before getting to know anything, get to know the people. And you will get to see some very genuine and dedicated, godly men and women at Word of Life who really walk the talk. And that's also one factor that just keeps us here.
That's so cool. How is let's get a little personal here.
Yeah.
We're getting close to the end. But how has your personal faith grown through your involvement with Word of Life? And how do you see that reflected in the work you're doing?
Well, at Word of Life, I've learned a lot about ministry, about evangelism, discipleship. But my wife and I, we are in a very privileged situation because Word of Life allowed us to go through 4 years of education at Dallas Theological Seminary. So I got my master's degree at Dallas Theological, and for all those 4 years, we were Word of Life staff members, and this was a great privilege and honor, and a very enriching experience as far as becoming a Bible teacher and leader and preacher. Um, Word of Life gave us wonderful friends. Uh, friendships that last for life, relationships that define us. I got to meet leaders who are genuine, who really want to serve those who lead, and it gave us a perspective, allowed us the perspective to see God's faithfulness for decades.
When I think about your ministry and you kind of reflect on all the things that have happened and all that God is doing, there's still needs, right?
Yeah.
So, in closing, I just want you to share with us, what is your greatest need right now, and how can those who are listening find more about you and your ministry?
Okay, let me show you water. Okay, it may sound funny, but we have this old campus with an old building, and our water wells are expired. Right now, the authorities gave us a grace period, but in 4 or 3 years, we have to shut down the existing water wells and we have to dig some new wells. Well, it sounds simple, but it's not simple at all because we have to do it according to our regulations, fire safety, water purity, health department, design, everything. Making a long story short, one such well cost us $50,000. Two wells cost us $100,000. And providing safe drinking water and fire water for our buildings, that's an essential. Without that, we could not function. So that will be our top priority at the moment. And the second one would be scholarships, because we want young people here in the Bible Institute and in camps, and particularly in the Bible school. Many of these kids just cannot afford it. Many of the European students are first generation Christians. Their parents couldn't care less about Bible school, but they want to come here and they want to come become disciples. And we want to train those young people sent by other Word of Life so that they have staff and leaders. So these are the two great needs: water and scholarships, Chip.
Yeah, well, we're going to put a link at the bottom of this podcast so that people can actually find out more information about you and really see how that they can maybe encourage or bless you. And I just thank you so much, Laci, for your time and really for the ministry that you're a part of. I think what people don't realize is that young people that come to us come from environments that are tough. And like you said, a lot of them are first generation Christians, and their parents aren't going to pay for them to go to camp. They're not
Nope.
going to pay for them to come to the school.
Nope.
But we never know who could be the next one of us, the next Jack Wharton. We just never know. But God could definitely use people like us to encourage someone to really do more for him. So thank you for your time. Thank you for your ministry and the 30 plus years that you have given. And thank you for continually to remain strong. And hopefully this will be an encouragement to those who are listening as much as it's been an encouragement to me today. So thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity.
As you've heard through Laci Kadar's story, the ministry of Word of Life is transforming the lives of young people across generations, particularly Gen Z and Gen Alpha. In a world filled with challenges and uncertainty, Laci's experience highlights the deep need for authentic relationships and discipleship, something Word of Life is uniquely positioned to provide. The impact of this ministry reaches far beyond individual lives, creating a ripple effect that shapes families, communities, and future generations. So by joining the Messenger's monthly giving program, you're not just writing a check, you're becoming part of a global community that is passionate about reaching young people with the gospel. You're standing alongside leaders like Laci, helping Word of Life meet the pressing needs of today's youth and equipping them with the hope and truth of Jesus Christ. You can get involved today by clicking on the link below and visiting our website and signing up to become a messenger. Your monthly support will empower Word of Life to continue adapting, growing, and making an eternal impact. Together, we can help every young person take their next steps with Jesus. Until next time.